also never been served a drink
Hi.
in a mug.
My name is Leap.
before
I use he, him.
and has no idea what to do with it. He's just kind of like dipping his beak into it and trying to like figure it out, but his beak is too big to like get it open and like get a sip with his beak in the mug, and he's just having a real hard time, guys.
Serapides asks for a straw.
Now, have you guys ever seen the crows that will lean their head sideways and like drink things out of the corner of their mouth? Yeah.
Whip is not that smart.
Goats do that too.
He is not what you might call Whip smart. That wasn't as good. I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
And we are live. Hello. And I immediately choke on my own air. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Celtic Knot. We are on Chapter 4, and super excited to be playing with my players today. We are down one player who has decided that the time period is not going to work out, but it's totally okay, and we totally support that decision because we want this to be fun for everybody. So just wanted to give you guys that announcement. A special thanks to Lipacheski for helping us out with the voiceover intro for Kaljanon's amazing haiku from a couple weeks ago. Thank you, Cal. And I'm trying to think of, do you guys think there's any other announcements we need to make for today?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, everybody made it to level 3 last game.
That we did.
Yep. And so without further ado, let's get into today's episode. So, as always, I am offering DM inspiration to whoever is willing to participate in recounting last episode. So, who we got?
So I'll do it. We started out with Sparks leaking from all the wrong places because he was being held by this vine creature inside the temple. And we all figured out through a clever series of attacks how to defeat the creature and collected the 3 flowers. And at first we thought we were going to camp in the temple and decided it might not be the best idea through just looking at the way the sky was looking. And so we made our way out of the temple and placed the 3 feathery golden flowers on the magical chest outside and opened it, and we each got feather tokens with the exception of Inoki, who got the small horsefly statue, an ebony fly. Each of the tokens, I don't remember which token each person got, has some magical property about them. And Inoki's fly is a magical steed with which they can convert it into a giant fly and fly around with. We also learned that the order of the flowers on the chest had an effect on the twilight, the light, and the darkness. And by reordering the flowers, we were able to correct the balance of the light in the sky.
That is the thing that
Am I
happened.
missing anything?
If I could just add one thing.
Yeah.
So for the tokens, the tree went to Whippoorwill, the whip went to Serapides, the bird went to Sparks, the swan went to Beltoll, and the fan went to Aurora.
Yay! A+ for actually taking notes of those kinds of things.
No, he just
I just remember.
No,
Clearly.
No, I super appreciate your recap. It was very good, Doctor. I was just Don't fight over my attention, everybody. Yeah. No, I'm really impressed whenever people remember like who gets what loot and everything, because I am honestly not that good at remembering stuff like that. So I was just very impressed. You both get A+.
Yay. Thanks, Mama.
So I did remember what thing I was forgetting to do with announcements, which I was like, this is taking weirdly not very much time. Let's have everybody introduce themselves. So I am Michaela, also known as DM Irish, and I will be the Dungeon Master today. And with me in my house is the one and only Alora. So let's start with you.
Hi everybody, I'm Alora / Tiny White Girl, and I'm playing Seripides Nowhere, a tiefling rogue.
Thank you. And your pronouns are?
Dead. I've died. She and her.
Okay. Well, thank you. Then I guess we'll start on this end of the screen today. So, Shiny, can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Shiny.
I guess that's
Shiny
still working.
Girl on
Nice.
Twitter. I'm playing Aurora, who's an invention wizard,
Very
an Eladrin invention wizard. She happens to be in her very excitable spring season.
Sweet. Oh, that's really warm. Is it gonna be okay? Okay. We're having a little technical difficulties on this side, but it's fine.
That doesn't look like Alora.
Looks like the back of a computer. My guess
What?
is Gal.
Oh, it's because I can't pick this one because the screen is dead. So it's the default one.
The screen is dead. Oh, it's fine. We can just use my.
Yeah, we'll just do that.
There we go. Whee! Just think really tall thoughts.
You can really tall thoughts.
Yeah.
I'll just sit on your lap.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. So, okay.
Heyo.
Hey-o! Alright. So, thank you, Shiny / Aurora, for introducing yourself. Let's introduce Greg. Oh, you don't have any audio.
No, go ahead. I have an idea.
Okay. That's fine. We're figuring it out.
Tirathon here. I'm playing as Sparks, the rogue halfling, with a little bit of a mental disconnect and some other mental health problems. Just a little bit. So you'll see me teetering around throughout this campaign.
And what pronouns do you use, Sparks?
He, him, his.
Cool. Thank you very much. And Doctor.
I am Doctor, but I am playing Inoki Roulette, a Lyconid druid, and its pronouns are they, them, and it is a collector of many things. We'll learn about that more later on.
Sounds good. Can't wait. Caldranon.
Oh, I am Cal or Caljanon or Andrew, if you want to be in the real world, which is boring. And I am playing Whippoorwill, the Kenku Druid, and both myself and Whip use he, him pronouns.
Alright, thank you. And last but not least, I'm Ninja Cupcake. You are muted.
We don't know why you're muted. You're all supposed to talk.
I'm a
right? Yes.
ninja. You just didn't hear me coming.
Ah.
I'm a ninja cupcake. I use she, her. I would be playing the amazing Kinku friend, Beltol. Beltol is a grave domain cleric, and they, them.
All right, thank you. Okay.
That's not gonna work.
Mm,
I was gonna try and use my phone
oh, to do, like,
camera,
to the camera. Mm.
but I don't have a stand for it. I'll just use yours.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. All right, I think we're figuring that out. Thank you for being patient, everybody. So where we last left off in our game 2 weeks ago, Inoki was flying around on his new horsefly token companion, but we are going to travel back in time just slightly to the morning to the morning where you all awaken after this exciting adventure in the ruins. And this is kind of a special event today. You guys have just completed your first adventure with one another, and you have learned where you can trust each other, and are starting to get to know each other a little bit better. And I would like you all to remind me who took watches last night, or specifically who took the last watch.
Was
If
it
anyone
Whip that did it
remembers.
last time?
I think so.
Okay, Cerebides would probably do it.
I was
Okay.
about to say, I think it's Euripides that got the last one.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Cerebides, as you were the one taking the wee hours of the morning and watching over this group, I'm looking here, but I don't know where to look anymore. You are kind of distracted from your watch over the camp by the sounds of Deirdre kind of collecting her things, and she just kind of sits up and sits at the fire with you, and she's weaving together some more flower crowns. And she says, "You know, I'm not sure I'm quite ready for this life of adventure. I think my music is calling me elsewhere for now. Do you think that'll be okay?"
It would be preferable, honestly, if none of you were here. But I see your meaning.
WWDD.
The others will miss you.
That's fair. It's fair enough. And she says, "Well, in the time that I've known you,
You've been a person.
you've been a person,
Pointy.
a pointy person, and it seems like the group's in good hands."
Thank you, small
And-
flower child.
I identify with that remark. And she hands you a garland of flowers that she made specifically for you. Yeah. Had you in mind, some of the thorns are still left on it, even. And,
All the pointy one.
oh, the pointiest one. And she says, I don't really want to make a big fuss, so if you don't mind, I'll just kind of make my quiet way out. And she lays down more garlands next to each of the sleeping companions in your group, and you see her tuck in a couple extra things against Sparks and Aurora, and on her way out, she kind of leans down and whispers something very gently into Whippoorwill's ear, and then she stands up and kind of hefts her drum and gives you kind of like finger guns.
Okay, wait, 2 things.
Yes.
So, first thing is Seripides is just shaking her head at the fact that Deidre was able to, like, sneak around to everybody and hide shit in their shit, and everybody is still asleep. But what if we were getting attacked? She's thinking this in her head. And also, can I roll a perception to see if Seripides notices what she leaves or what she says?
Yeah, sure. I'll do a perception check.
Nosy Nelly.
Oh, nope. I got like a 7.
Okay.
So,
With that, you can see that, like, she's not trying to be stealthy necessarily. She's just trying to be quiet, and so she, the thing she tucked in against Sparks is just a little bundle wrapped in cloth, and you just get the feeling it might be like a trinket or something like that, and then you have no idea what she whispered to Whippoorwill.
I just keep watch. I think Serpides would probably look at the flower crown. It probably wouldn't fit on her horns. She might try.
Okay.
And then realizes she'd probably break it because her horns are really pointy. And then she would just, that's why I don't have nice things, and just throw it on the ground.
Okay. So the rest of you wake up to, yes.
Did Whip hear what she said?
Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Well, it's a 5 on the dice, so I forget what my bonus is, but I'm gonna guess probably not. Let's see. That is a 10.
Okay. I would say you stir a little bit from your sleep, just enough to tell that it's her voice, not some strange creature in the night, and catch a few words before just kind of dozing back to sleep. But basically, from what you could hear, she was just saying some like little encouragements and giving you a couple phrases to keep in your pocket.
Okay.
And those ones I will tell you in secret.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah. But yeah, you don't catch like a whole conversation type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. So the rest of you wake up.
This is a first.
Yeah. How do you go about your morning?
So literally, when Inoki wakes up, like, you see him on the ground like this. You don't see any of his body here. And then all of a sudden he wakes up, he goes, "Whoop," and you see, like, the long, stocky body appear.
I love it. I like that we have an Inoki doll now.
That's pretty great.
I've had this forever.
Yeah, usually it just kind of lurks in the background though. Make an excellent use of it today.
I think when Sparks wakes up, he's probably going to notice the bundle beside him, and for his long rest, Sparks rolled hallucinations. So I don't have amnesia today.
Okay.
But it was good.
Which you did.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna find the bundle and kind of like, I wonder what this was. I don't remember going to sleep with this, and then look into it. What is it?
So, wrapped up in the bundle, you see the anchor token that Deirdre had picked up the night before.
Okay, well, I guess I will kind of look around for Deidre, thinking, I'm pretty sure this was hers.
Yeah, you also
You
find a
forget
flower
that you
crown.
forgot.
Oh no. I'm gonna voice. Has anyone seen Deidre? I don't see her here.
Oh yeah, she left.
Okay. Do we pay her and then she was good? Because I know she left the other group when they paid her, so figured maybe she does the same thing like a lot.
Why'd
Would
she
be the first
leave?
time I found people like that.
She was not made for this life. She's not dead.
Okay. Well, that's too
Lucas
bad.
is
I like
kind
to.
of looking or confused, and like when Seripides says something, he's just kind of gives her a look like he doesn't understand why Seripides would say that, but he's just like he's just watching and looking a little bit confused and maybe a little bit sad.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
I think he notices his flower crown that Deirdre left for him, and so he's going to spend a minute just kind of looking at it, using Druidcraft to keep like making the flowers bloom again.
Yeah. It's at this moment that you realize a little bit more, just thinking back on your night of rest and remembering her words to you in the night, and you feel inspired. So you have a bardic inspiration from her.
Woo!
Yeah. Well,
I think Sparks just kind of kicks some grass and goes off to the edge of the group, kind of along the side, just kind of sits down, kind of bummed looking.
Yeah, when Aurora wakes up, she'd probably be pretty curious about whatever bundle is next to her.
yeah. So you also have a flower crown, and just kind of resting atop this flower crown, there is a beautiful bright pink rose.
So she probably, when she'd be excited about that, she'll pick it up and kind of like put it in her hair with a bunch of the other flowers that are there.
And Beltol, what were you going to do?
Beltol usually wakes up in the morning and reads. They're very much a don't talk to me before my coffee kind of morning person.
Mm-hmm.
Heard. And they'll just notice that everybody else got flower crowns and look to see if there's one around them.
Oh yeah, there's one for you as well.
Is there anything special about mine?
For yours, Deirdre kind of wove in different grasses from the surrounding countryside, but there's also very, very small, like delicate flowers woven into it instead of some of the more boisterous ones like you see on Aurora's crown.
I'm gonna wrap it around my wrist.
That's good. You managed to tie it off pretty easily.
No, maybe say a prayer about how everyone moves on one way or another.
Okay.
Is there a bundle next to Inoki?
Yeah. Let's see. in your flower crown, there's also little, like those little mushrooms with the really long stalks.
Mm-hmm.
And those are just woven in as well. You think she was trying to make it very thematic because she knows you like to kind of chat up your cousins when you walk by.
I was just gonna say I would probably pick it up and just kind of stare at them, and everyone would probably think I'm pondering, but I'm actually having a conversation with the mushrooms.
That's perfect.
Basically saying, hey, how are you guys doing today?
How are you now?
What's that?
And they say, how are you now?
I'm doing fine. How's it going?
Oh, not so bad. Oh, good.
Did she pick you okay, or did she pick you too hard?
Oh no, she was fine, eh?
Oh, that's good to hear.
Oh yeah. Oh geez,
Yeah.
it was a little startling though.
Yeah, and no one else can hear this conversation, so this is what my cottage sounds like. This is canon that my cottage is like speaking Canadian.
Amazing. Thank you for taking over.
I hope that was okay.
No, that was perfect.
You're welcome, Christopher.
Alright, do you want me to put you down? You want to come with me?
Oh, you know, whatever. I'm chill. We come along for a little bit, eh?
Alright, sounds good. I'll put you down when you want.
Okay.
Alright, you betcha.
Oh, it's a 10. It's a size 10-4.
Leave and chat. We're sorry.
Liam doesn't realize he's nuts. He doesn't speak Canadian, he speaks Myconid.
I can't breathe.
So what Anoki will do is, because the cap is so big, I'll do something similar as what I did with the fly, where I kind of make a recess in the cap for the fly, and then when I put the fly in, it'll kind of just hold in place. I'll do the same thing with the crown, but I will place it such that, like, where one of the spots is, the crown just kind of goes right there. And if there's not actually a spot there, I'll make it that color. And then it'll be like the white spot with like the crown exactly around it.
Well, this is the perfect spot, eh?
Oh yeah, I'm sure you'd like it there. Can you see everything alright?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna take a wee bit of a nap, eh?
Hey, you take care of yourself.
Oh,
Wake
yeah.
up when you need to.
Well, thank you.
Alright, rest me out.
Oh, yeah.
Aurora is now also the character of my crowd.
Yep. This is the rest of your game now. You know
That's
this,
fine.
right?
It's fine.
You play all the mushrooms in the world. So.
Also,
That's good.
pointing, tiny mushrooms.
Yes. Amazing.
Which really cousins.
Only the
I
guy.
really mean cousins. You're the cousins.
You were
I have a
what, Portal?
question
What?
about,
Sorry.
Anoki's movement when he's like just walking along. Does his whole body move up and down when he's stepping, or does he kind of just slide along? Like,
Does
how
he have
that work?
legs?
So Anoki has legs. But he's not a janky walker. You would think, looking at it, that it was it would be long and gangly, but it's very graceful. So like when you're up there, and if you're sitting in the Sparks chair on the top of the cap, you're not doing this. You're not doing this.
Right. So the mushroom cap is gimbaled, basically.
It's basically like this.
Like it's just yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just asking because in the future I'm thinking that there may be some short rests I take in that Sparks chair up there.
Could be.
Anoki has no problem with this.
Because if my character could just sleep all the time while you guys walk around, that could be something.
Does Spark's penalty rolls occur after only long rests, but also short rests?
Yeah. So the way it works is short rests add more things. Long rests clear them. Add a bigger
I'm
one.
completely okay
So
with all of this.
All right, so we got to take a lot of short rests sometime and just.
No, just Sparks.
No, I know, but like as a group, we need to make sure we're taking a lot of short rests so that he's constantly making it worse and worse and worse.
You're welcome, Dungeon
cannot,
Master.
like, honestly, how did I get the player who wants short rests to make things worse? That's just all. Oh my goodness! Every game, doesn't matter what.
you
I'm
guys be
playing.
like, take your nap, Sparks. Be like, no, I don't want.
He's like, oh, mushrooms.
Oh, look at Daddy Blanky.
Wait, no, put it back up there. We'll make it bigger. Yay! Leggies! Amazing. Thank you for sharing. So, Beltol, what were you going to say? Yes, I
Beltol
remember
was
talking-
watching Inoki stare at the crown and the little mushrooms, just very, very intently. And they open up their bag and stare down at the little mushrooms, and look over and is trying to figure out what's so special about these damn mushrooms.
You can do an insight or a nature check.
Oh, they were just like trying to figure out if this is like a normal thing.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ask Inoki?
I think they're gonna observe it first. If they see you do it a couple of times, they might.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think right now, no.
Right
They
now,
would
it's
just-
just one data point.
Yeah, it's like a because they definitely noticed that everybody picked up their flower crowns and seemed very touched by this,
Mm-hmm.
and then they
That's
just looked at
everybody.
Inoki.
And it just looks like I'm staring because I don't blink.
Right. Well, I don't know what the mucosal junctions are like on a myconid.
Yeah.
So, they're just gonna like try and keep an eye, notice that everybody's moved on,
Yeah.
look at them and say, I guess it's onward.
And you're saying this and thinking about like carrying on when you feel like a rustle of paper coming from a pouch on your pack, Beltol.
They're gonna do the bird head spin thing. Yeah. and nuzzle down in that pouch and see if they can't just like see without having to take it off and get in it.
Yeah, it looks like there is a very large rolled up like scroll, perhaps, that's been tucked in to your pack.
Like the rustling may have been somebody tucking it in, or
No,
that
just from
the
you
scroll was
shifting
moving?
and you noticed it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure it was a moving scroll.
No, it was not moving as far as you could tell.
Yeah.
That was just
okay,
poor
so-
description on my part, that's all.
It's an important question in D&D.
Yeah.
It is. No, you did the right
It's a
thing.
mimic.
That's what I was like. What am I gonna get bit when I put my hand in my bag?
Nope,
Do I
it's
need to prepare for that?
a stationary.
Okay, so they're going to then go pull it and open it and see if they can read it.
Yeah, so as you unfurl it, you see lots of lines and dashes, and all of this is kind of scrawled out across a faint grid. And the page is aged and browned by use, but this is most obviously a map of the Moonshay Isles.
Oh,
So It is indeed the one that I have sent you, and if we need to drop that link again, we can do that. But I am going to step away for a moment and let you all determine your location on this map and where you would like to travel.
This is really exciting because our characters and our players now have the same map, so we don't have to figure that out anymore. Like, what does my player do?
Yes, you will now know where to go. Good.
I just assumed that we glanced at a map when we were in Gritty McDuff's.
And
Nope,
we were
actually.
still winging it, so to
No,
speak.
we just
Okay.
walked straight into the forest.
Yeah,
No.
we didn't even do that. If I recall correctly, Whip relied on his knowledge of the area,
Oh,
and the best he could remember was where we were trying to go was north. So he pointed literally due north, and we've just been working off of that from now.
Yeah.
Leave. So what the place we're trying to go in order to find Freya and Freyr is Winterglen, which is north of us, but we are also currently at the ruins of Orth, which is sort of on a peninsula. So we would have to either like go inland to go up and around, or find a way across the water to get up to like Hairvu.
across the water, you say?
Those are the
Yeah.
words that I said with my mouth.
And another relevant thing that our characters know is that the Care Aliasen, that area, well, the Strait of Alran actually is known for being kind of treacherous waters, and so the shippers go around it, and
Right.
Which is another thing we picked up that might be of relevance to us.
I also need to step away for a minute, so.
I'm going to do the same real quick.
Okay.
The only
Mini-
person
Semi-mini breaking?
Are we
can't see,
semi-mini breaking?
I just got to use the restroom real quick.
Everybody's leaving.
Okay, well, I mean, we can.
So I think if Aurora sees
Hey,
Belto,
no,
you know,
move
pull
it.
out a map and start unrolling it, then
I'm the DM.
probably come over
Okay,
and
good
is
luck.
this gonna show us where to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna, then I'll RP. They unfurl the scroll, we figure out it's a map, you come over. I think I'm probably a little bit taller than you are, but I'm not a super large creature. So we'll definitely, as you show interest, try and do the map leaning, maybe like awkwardly trying to squat to get this down to your level. Like, and they take their, I don't like the canon that Kenkus have hands with feathers on the arms. I'm feather fingers.
Yeah, that's what I picture too.
Right. So takes a feathered finger and runs it across the map over to Borth. And then kind of does one of, you know, like the hovering and points to Winterglen. Says exactly what Cal said, that we either have to, it appears that we will have to make our way either over the water or, and they take their finger and run it up the map inland more with like an arcing path.
Well, I can swim, but I don't know if I can swim that far. Do we have any way across the water?
They roll over their palm and present the swan token and say, from what I gather, this might be used as a boat.
That's convenient. The little fan I got apparently can make a boat go faster.
Somebody's been playing Zelda. Sorry.
It's true though.
So Aurora might like call over to Seripides, since they typically make all our decisions. And it's like, well, we have a map now, and apparently we can go over land, or Beltol has a swan boat.
Serpides was probably
Bird
still
I'm
sitting and would stand up And how tall is Beltol?
Oh, do you need specifics?
I mean, just like ish.
I think I'm a medium-sized creature.
Okay, so
Oh wait.
probably not too much shorter than Cerepides.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I'm somewhere on the just above between you and Aurora.
Right. I'm just trying to figure out if Cerepides would have to like bend down on her knees.
Aurora
Yeah.
was like-
Beltol's doing the awkward squat to put the map at Aurora's level.
Cerepides would probably just stay standing and lean down to look at the map and looks at Beltol, and you have a boat. Kind of sizes Beltol up, like looking for a boat. And then looks at the token. And it's like, well, we were given these gifts, we might as well use them.
We can go by land, if more would prefer.
Walking works. I just want to get this over with.
Then Maynard bless us.
Whip has been sort of hovering nearby, and when it sounds like maybe people are wondering what like the rest of the group would want to do, he just kind of opens his beak and makes the sound of waves hitting the rocks, as if to indicate, water's fine.
Sounds like he wants to go by boat.
Go by boat.
As Sparks has been peeking in from around the edge of the group of people looking at the map, he's gonna say, yeah, I also vote for water. I don't like that the Diltan area kind of looks like maybe the harbor they were talking about down in Kings Bay. That makes the strait dangerous.
Whip looks at, kind of tilts his head and looks at Sparks, as if he's seeing him for the first time, because this is by far the most, coherent and cogent Sparks has been. And he's just like, Captain Sparks?
Cerepides immediately no. If anybody is the captain of this boat, it is that owns it. And then looks at Beltol.
Yeah, Beltol is feeling the initial, I don't want this guy to be the captain, and then clarity comes rolling past his lips, and they're very confused about how they feel about this, and then confused about why they feel the way that they feel.
It's relatable.
But welcome to Sparks when he doesn't have amnesia.
Uh-huh.
Beltol just kind of nods at the pointy one.
Does anybody
And when
else?
Cerepides
No, go ahead.
says that if anyone should be the captain, it should be the one who owns the boat, Whip just looks over at Beltol and goes, "Follow the pretty one."
Oh, I was waiting for owns it.
Nah. Well, he would say that if you were clever enough to think of it.
Roll for cleverness.
Uh-huh.
So this would be about the time that, if you recall, in the last game, Inoki was playing with the giant fly and tooling around. And while you guys are looking at the map, Inoki's looking down and seeing you guys, and it lands and hops off of the name of the fly is Tabano, and shrinks it back down to normal size, puts it back in place, and walks over to the map, and you hear the of the spores, and says, "Where are we traveling to?
Winter
How
Glen.
are we getting there?" And you see the cap, just a giant nod, and it says, "You guys are speaking about traveling over the water. There is not much for me to collect on the water. However, I will follow you that way."
Collect dead people.
That was me.
We'll be on the water
Sorry.
long, and we'll get to that place real quick.
If anybody else has anything to say about it.
When Whip responds in rapport spores, it's still not like regular speech. It's more just like you get a feeling that I'm going to summarize with words because that's how I can communicate it to you, player to player. But basically the feeling he sends to you, like there's an idea of passage of time, which might come as like the mental image of like a sun rising and setting very quickly or something like that.
Okay.
And then like a mental image of fungi growing very quickly on a tree. And what he's communicating to you is like there's
The
nothing
waterway
to
is
collect.
faster.
There's nothing to collect on the water, but it will get us to a place where there is collection to do faster.
Yeah, and Noki digs this, and again, look, like you see it visibly turn this giant cap and just give you a nod.
Right. Portobello sombrero.
Yeah, but it's like this color.
Yeah.
Portobello.
There are creatures that live in the water. We could easily kill them.
That is not my method of collection.
Serpity shrugs and just.
I collect those that cause unbalance.
Well, sounds like boat is everybody's vote. Vote.
Boat.
Oh well. Pitter patter.
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 Forgot I'm a Minnesotan.
Beltol is already walking down towards the shore.
Serpides follows.
And
Aurora's sitting behind them.
they're looking at the token, and I'm assuming, understand the rough parts of, hey, this might be a boat, but they have no idea on like how to activate it or anything like that. So they're gonna do something that they've seen a couple times before. There was a small lake that went out to the water that they used to take walks with their master, the other cleric that was above them. And they had seen them like throw a rock out on the water to skip it. So they assume that's what they're supposed to be doing. They take the token and skip the token out in the water, just to see if maybe that's what makes a boat.
Gone forever.
I was literally just thinking.
I'm taking the risk.
So,
So you don't have a token anymore.
Yep, it's gone. No. So as soon as this token has touched the body of water, after you've released it from your hand, you see it disappears. It disappears under the surface of the water, and you start to see some like bubbles rising up from the water, and then the water seems to swell, and this ginormous boat breaks the surface of the water, and just sheets of this ocean water are pouring off of it. And it looks like a swan, and so it's the long neck as the prow, graceful wings kind of adorn the sides of this boat rather than sails, and the body of this boat is 50 feet long and 20 feet wide. You can see where a rudder would be. There are little feet,
No.
and they're currently just kind of tucked up.
How much leeway do I have with the cannon on this boat?
The cannon?
Can I make
The cannon set.
not like boom boom?
Okay,
cannon.
okay, like
Piano.
canonical. Okay, I
Yeah,
want you
what?
to tell me more about what this looks like. Do it.
This is an actual swan with like seats. Like the little feet move, and she has. Obviously, it's a she because it's awesome.
That tracks.
It's the boat.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
boats
they've
are
got
shoes.
I'm gonna say like pink eyes.
Okay, I can roll
That
that.
like when you get in and it's a they don't really have like bird connections, but it's kind of like an unspoken bird thing. Like you walk into a room with somebody that's wearing like your alumni shirt from college. You don't know who they are, but you're like,
Team Bird.
yeah,
like,
So
we are now immediately friends,
yes,
at least in this small way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that like when you want to go somewhere on the boat, instead of like maybe having steering, you actually talk to the bird.
Yes. Yes. You absolutely do have to talk to the bird.
So she's gonna do her little
Giant.
paddle and come around to the shore so where we can all get in. Like it's still got water rippling off of her feathers.
Yeah, and just some of them
And-
rustle and shake droplets into the air.
The butt wiggle.
Yeah.
I've never seen a boat like that.
As Sparks sees this all unfold, he just kind of sits down dejectedly and goes, "Oh, it's gonna be one of those days, huh?"
this is the fun part to note is none of this is actually a hallucination yet. This is all real.
Whether or not Sparks is aware of that.
Exactly. That's the best part.
Right.
Amazing.
So, I have two quick questions.
Yes.
Well, Cupcake
First,
loses it.
Only two?
yes. So, according to the official rules, druids aren't allowed to wild shape into creatures that can fly until a higher level.
Yes.
If I promise not to fly, will you let me wild shape into a swan?
Yeah, you can be birds. So the thing is,
You can't swim either.
no. So the thing is, until you are a big kid druid, if you're turning into a creature that can fly or swim, before you get those abilities, I'm gonna call it. You have to turn into the baby version of those.
I am down for that. I don't know if you thought that was going to be considered like a handicap. I probably would have done that anyway.
Yeah, because baby animals get bonus charisma. We all know that.
Well, unless you're an ugly duckling.
Okay, so Whip's going to do that in a minute, but before that,
Plus 10.
there was one thing I wanted to do before we left this like camp that we had.
Okay.
But I have a question about that, and this question is for Alora, because with the flower crown that Deirdre made for Seripides, did she like keep that, or did she like throw it on the ground?
I think
Part of it.
what I said is she tried to put it on, accidentally broke it with her horn, was momentarily sad about it, but then got mad at herself for being mad, and then just tossed it on the ground.
Okay. So I think as Beltol summons this swan, which is going to need a name, by the way, and everybody's sort of like heading down to the shore to take a look at it. Whip is going to see the discarded broken flower crown on the ground, and he's going to like put the broken ends back together and use druidcraft to like heal the end so that it's whole again. And he's going to come up behind Seripides and realize she's like way too tall. There's no way he could just like put it on her. He's going to like toss it up like it's like a frisbee, trying to get it on one of her
You could put it on
horns.
her tail. She probably wouldn't notice.
Well, I think he's gonna try and like get
Like
the ring
horseshoe
on
it.
on the
Ring
hook, yeah,
toss it.
horseshoe it onto one of her horns.
Okay, go ahead and make an athletics
that's-
check.
Yeah.
Roll for carnival talent.
Roll for
Carny hands.
Roll for ring toss.
I rolled a 1.
your cunning hands failed.
Okay. Inoki would be walking next to him. Can I alley-oop this?
Sure, it's
Inoki-
like so. Yes, you can. You can also make an athletics check, but this is how this happens. He throws it completely the wrong direction, and you just happen to be there, and so this is more of a reaction.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Like headbutt it over.
yeah,
And you want athletics?
it's like wow. Yes. Yes, please. Athletics.
7.
Nope. You spike it into
So-
the ground.
But that's where I am, so
Well, okay.
It's an all-party effort.
Wait. Can I add
Do it.
something to this?
Yeah.
Whatever you're gonna
Yeah.
do.
may I roll for the third
Yeah,
catch?
you can roll,
It's
and
like
what-
volleyball at this point.
Yes, you can roll. And Beltol, what are you doing?
Roll a 20.
I got
roll
a
20.
12, but only because I have ridiculous acrobatics.
Okay. First, what's Beltol doing?
Beltol was talking to the boat. Boat's name is Credence,
Oh,
Right.
Credence.
and
Clearwater?
Christopher.
so the boat is actually looking. Beltol expressed concern over Bart's wrecking the last boat and being in such bad shape and being out on the water. The Credence is going to look at Beltol and look over at Spark and go to do like the mama pickup by the back of the boat to put him in the boat.
Yeah, so,
Yes.
so this is what happens, Sparks. You try to also participate in the flower crown tossing, but right when you're reaching, the swan picks you up and starts carrying you over to park in the boat deck, the swan deck.
As the swan picks me up, I'm gonna be lifted screaming, "Oh my god, it's real!"
Aurora, how are you handling all of this?
Me?
Yes, Aurora, not Alora.
Second grade all over
Aurora
again.
would just be blown away by this whole process, and she's probably taken notes in her book. And Blossom, her weasel, is probably just like running back and forth on dry land, like the length of the boat, just wigging out. But she'll be taking notes until it's time to try to get into the boat. And, I don't know, how do we get into the boat?
Well, the boat, Credence the boat, boat adjacent,
Float
Had it.
creature.
float creature.
Uh,
Thank you, floaty boat friend, and kind of pat it.
Yeah, she has like waddled onto a semi-beached position like you'd see with boats. So then it would be just a climbing up job probably from there.
Would Credence, like, you see the wings tucked back?
Mm-hmm.
Would it extend one of the wings out to shoreline so that
Oh,
people
sure.
could walk?
Yeah, like bend it out and pull
Like a
him
little ladder.
I love it. Yes.
Or even like a gangplank?
Yeah. That works for me.
So yeah, she'll get on the boat then.
So at this point, the crown is on the ground and everyone's forgotten about it. And Anoki's kind of probably a little bit further back. Anoki would probably pick up the crown and just kind of look at it and then put it in another spot just to kind of remember to carry it later. And then once the crown is in the other spot, I would pick up Tabano, put it down, and wake him up and climb on and just wait for you guys to cast off.
Oh yeah, have a good trip, eh?
Yeah, we will. You're gonna be able to see all right up there. You're not afraid of heights or anything, are you?
Oh no, this is perfect. This is a great spot.
Can you talk to the other ones in the other crown? I don't know if there's any mushrooms in there or not.
Oh yeah, let me check, eh? Hey, are there any mushrooms, eh?
There are not. It is a rose. It's made of rose.
No.
All right. You think they're gonna live though?
I'll be fine.
All right, sounds good.
Well, see you later.
Yeah.
Oh man. So on the swan deck, there. So I will leave it up to Cupcake's description for what these look like, but there are a total of 32 seating spaces. And then also just a area to sit up front or carry supplies.
Sorry.
So how would you describe how these benches of a sort or chairs would be displayed across the deck of this?
Is there... This is actually... I feel morbid asking this. Is there like a beneath deck?
In the tummy.
There's no hatches that open to a beneath deck, but it's kind of like a mostly hollowed out shape. This is just weird description.
Is it like hollowed out? Does it look like one of those Fisher Price bathtub boats?
Like,
yeah, kind of. It's imagine a fluffy bestial Viking longboat.
That's what I'm imagining. I'm thinking straight benches all the way across with like options for having oars, but the oars are like giant feathers. They look like giant quills.
Yeah,
up on the sides. You never have to. They're mostly for display purposes.
You're rowing the air.
If the swan gets mad at you and doesn't feel like going anywhere.
Yeah. Or like she needs help steering, like something's going on.
Or we're on a really long journey and we want to let her take a nap and we'll row while she's sleeping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my goodness, I just saw the pictures from Doctor. Yeah, did his audio cut out or something?
No, his everything quit.
Oh no.
Yeah, so he's completely offline for a moment.
Oh, I know.
We'll have to... Hopefully he'll be back quickly.
He's just super engrossed in his conversation with the little mushrooms.
Yeah.
I was about to say that the mushroom
He's
is
off in
very...
his own headspace. It's okay. We'll incorporate him when he comes back. Also, this is what he sent.
Yeah. I will,
perfect.
It's an inflatable swan floaty, and it's so perfect.
I will put a link to that image in chat. Actually.
Amazing.
I think Sparks is going to be kind of all shook while he sits on the boat. He's like, you guys, I know what's going to happen next. I've seen them do this. We're safe right now. They won't eat us. But as soon as we get to those big bird babies, they're going to feed us to them.
Coincidentally, at the same time that Sparks says the phrase "big bird babies," Whip has, like Doctor said, has forgotten completely about the crown, and has gone down to the shore, and is going to wild shape into a baby swan. I am posting a link to a picture just so that everyone can enjoy this with me. He just gets so fuzzy and cute,
Aww.
and just like paddles in the water over to like just like
So cute.
nestle under one of Credence's wings.
Swan's really territorial.
But it's
Yes.
a baby.
Well,
Uh,
it's not their baby, and they're like half swan,
a
half
magic-
boat, right?
It's a magic bird boat.
Yeah, it's half boat. So really, it's more intelligent than a regular swan probably would be.
Well,
Than a regular boat.
they,
Yeah,
so
and then a
they are an
regular boat.
Smarter than
elevated
your average boat.
Yeah, so this
swan
is
adjacent float creature.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it's like a coriander of swans.
Style boat system.
Well, Credence has this thing where they aren't going to act on it, but anytime they see like other water birds and any other boats for that matter, they have that. The fuck are you doing in my channel? What you doing over here?
Swans are very
Like
territorial.
have that inner monologue, and Beltol's up there like petting her head, and she's like giving the eye to Sparks periodically, and then this little swan comes down, and Credence is like, "The fuck is this thing doing? Does it think it?" And just is looking all sweet.
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
I'm okay with that as long as it doesn't involve Luke getting attacked.
No, they keep looking like they want to, but they're not going to.
I will
Does that
accept
mean-
this.
Instead of having a boat horn, if things get too close to us, the swan just goes.
Hisses.
Oh,
The neck out.
Mhm.
Swans are scary.
Yeah,
They're really scary. It's true.
One bit me on the pinky when I was 5.
Oh.
My sister was bit by a swan once.
Get out of here.
Okay. So now that you guys have kind of figured out how to arrange yourselves on this swoot on Credence, you are preparing yourself to give Credence directions on where she should go. And she is self-propelling, so you don't need to row with the feathers. Those are really for decoration. But you think that she's probably pretty nimble. So just giving directions will be the key part here. And this is where we're going to take just a few minute break, and then we'll return to the action. I gotta find my break page. Here we go. Oh, and we're
You
back.
see feet?
Wait, whose feet?
I heard Cal say I see feet.
I said I see faces.
Oh, it definitely sounded like feet. Well, all of our faces are back and our
Why
feet,
would I-
but they're not visible. It's from your weird
Not that
internet
kind of
searches.
extreme, Cal.
Yeah, Cal.
I'm not that bendy.
Oh my goodness, calm down. Hakuna Yatatas. So,
No.
welcome back from the break, everybody. I am still DM
Don't worry
Irish,
about us getting out of hand.
and this is still a ridiculous stream. We have returned, and Alora and I made potatoes because we're very speedy.
And they didn't share.
No, we did.
We're too hungry.
I just can't share germs because I'm sick, remember? That's what's up. So,
I get my own potatoes later.
yeah, get your own potatoes or come over here. Take the next flight. That's true.
Road trip.
Yeah, or trip. That would be a long road trip. Okay, anyway. Let's actually put some
I'll grab a
Dungeons and
big
Dragons, everybody. How do we feel about that? So you're on a boat.
I'm on a boat. No, I'm on a fly.
You're on a fly. It's true. Some of you are baby boats of a sort.
Yeah, and so I will assume that like once the swan is actually traveling, it's going to be faster than Whip could keep up with, like in the water as the baby swan. So he's gonna like climb up before we actually like set out and climb up on. But he's gonna stay in his baby swan form for now. He's
It's
gonna
incredible.
like curl up in Aurora's lap probably.
Oh yeah, I was immediately gonna get that baby swan.
Oh yeah, yeah. He knows
Perfect.
what's up.
So, Beltol, tell me about how you're going to talk to Credence and set a course for your trip.
So, in my mind, Beltol gets into the boat and spends most of the time with an arm wrapped around like the base of Credence's neck, like just a soft hug, so that looking out over the shoulder with this bird, and we'll like just talk to the bird the whole time in a way that they have not done with anyone else. They talk to them like they would talk to all the dead that they were preparing. Like,
Okay.
you guys watched NCIS?
My grandpa and I watched it.
Ducky.
Yeah.
Ducky just talks to all the bodies, asks some questions, and just that's the way that Beltol is with Credence. And there's a moment where Beltol pulls out the map and does like the around the neck hug, like opening the map, and Credence can see it too. And they're talking Credence through, this is our journey, this is why we're going. We need to find our friends. It is our mission from the great god. And like shows them where we need to go and says, and the small one says, this inlet, this strait may not be as safe, so please use caution, friend.
Where is it that you point to on the map exactly?
You said it was the Cape of Dultan.
That was what we had heard rumors about.
Yeah. Beltol didn't remember until you had said. Because they weren't paying attention to that, but then you came out with like this the moment of clarity is going to stick in Beltol's mind. Beltol is now questioning your mind.
Aren't we
You're
all?
acting normal.
I think we all are.
So, you heard rumors about these, and so you acknowledge that. Are you trying to go there specifically, or avoid it?
I'm pointing on the map, literally just straight across from Borth to like Caribou.
Okay.
Straight line.
Sounds good. So, using map measurements.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is there a legend on the map that we can see as well?
Yeah, it's at the bottom. Yeah, you can see
But for,
everything
the
that's on this.
characters.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have this
Okay.
map, and it doesn't say 2009 Wizards of the Coast Incorporated.
Oh no!
Wait,
Damn you,
what is
Credence. There may be wizards on the coast.
Over 2,000 of them.
2009 wizards on the coast.
Okay, fine, it does say that.
Mr. Crawford, Mr. Perkins, Mr. Merles, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're forgetting a handful of people, but let's move on.
That's where I'm starting at the top and working down. I
You
will
should have
write
started with
the rest of them letters.
Kate Welch then.
I'd love to meet a bunch of wizards. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe they're beach wizards. They're pretty relaxed people.
There's a lot of wizards out there. It's a lot of variety.
Funny because every time I've driven past the wizards building, the parking lot is full of crows. So I joke it's a Kenku army.
There you go.
That's amazing.
He said it in the one game.
It's true.
Let's see.
So many
IKEA's
crows.
right across the street too.
So, I would just eyeballing it. Yeah.
Here, wait, scroll up. So
We're a
I'd
team.
say like 50.
She's measuring.
Measuring the distance.
50?
Going
Yeah, I would
the
say it's
distance.
about 50.
About 350?
It's between
350.
25 and 50
Well, I'll get my
miles.
purse.
Yeah. Let's just call it 40.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, well, it is self-propelled and moves at 6 miles per hour.
I am not doing math. This sounds like it's the beginning of a
Well-
math problem.
What was the number you gave for how far it is?
Let's just call it
Between 6 and
42.
7 hours. So
42,
7
so
hours.
it's 7 hours.
Yep, make it nice and easy.
Yep. Okay.
I will do the math if you want me to.
Oh yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And for me too. Don't make me do math.
I barely
Okay.
passed math
Has
90.
math.
Math, not even once. Amazing. Okay, 7-hour trip to Kervu. Sounds good. So, this morning it's probably about 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Just getting started on your day, trying out your new toys, tokens, and
Did we sleep on Credence?
you can, but you
We just woke up.
just woke up for the day.
Yeah, it's the middle part of it. Like, it's early morning when we got on the boat. Or the
Oh.
fly.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was when we were getting off the boat. We were saying it was
Oh
early
no.
morning. Okay.
You think we're getting off the boat that quickly?
Well, I thought it had been like an all day through the night thing.
No, it's
Three
yeah, only
hours.
7 hours.
Okay.
It's a slow tour. You could go the long way, but taking the most direct route possible, you kind of set off away from the shore, and your swan is kind of rocking a little bit. It's pretty calm today. Just a few clouds drift lazily by in the sky, and pretty soon you pull away from the shore, and the land becomes smaller and smaller behind you, and you can just see it just faintly off to the west of you. And as far as you know, Credence is doing a good job of staying on course, and yes.
Irish, you're cutting in and out a little bit.
Oh.
At least from.
How are the rest of you?
You just need to be closer to the mic.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe I
I'm
see
also hearing you cut in and out.
Yeah, I could understand most of it, and then toward the end, it just kind of completely went.
Thank you for letting me know. So, as you've pulled away from the shore and mostly see to the north, east, and south of you, you, I would like to know how all of you guys handle sea voyages.
Just thinking that.
Because further out into the water, the small cresting waves start to get a little bit deeper, just a few inches at a time, but soon the tops of them are cresting white and the boats are rocking. So,
and Credence is not in Clearwater.
Credence is not in Clearwater no more.
Ooh. Are we reviving her every time we use her?
All of you in ward jail. All of you.
I think Aurora would be excited by the waves and stuff. I don't think she gets nervous and stuff like that. Especially, she probably, in her spring season, she has a tendency to over-celebrate, so I was joking with Zach that Blossom has like a flask hidden in part of her, is like part of her mechanics, so she might also be a little tipsy.
Amazing. And how are our Kenku friends doing?
I think having wild shaped into a bird that spends its time on the water, even though swans probably don't go too deep out in the water, just like being a bird that's used to swimming and feeling like I'm a baby on the back of mom. You know, there's sort of that element in being a baby swan right now that Whip is completely fine and he's like asleep, either in Aurora's lap or on the bench or somewhere, just like, sleeping like Jesus on the Sea of Galilee.
And Beltol, you're muted.
You're muted again.
Beltol is trying to look at like everything being out on the water. Still very kid in a candy store with exploring. So maybe sometimes they are too distracted, leaning over the boat maybe a little bit too far, trying to look at all this sea life and sketch it into their book. So maybe not the safest, but should be okay.
Yeah.
Constitution-wise.
Let me roll a couple dice. Okay, so as you do this, you're 6 miles an hour is not too fast, and you're making steady progress, but it's not so fast that you are able to see a lot of the things swimming alongside you for a little bit at a time, and you see some shoals of fish just kind of come up near the water and duck away, just kind of riding the current. At one point you even saw a seal pop up, and as the waters get rougher, some of this marine life just kind of seems to slow down and have a more difficult time approaching you. And so for a little while there in the middle of your trip, you have it's been a little while since you've seen anything really pop up. And so it's about this 3-hour mark with the sun just shining down upon you from above that...
I'm losing you again.
Yeah.
Oh no! I don't know if I just habitually slide away or something. But,
yeah, you're definitely farther away than you were earlier in the week.
It's about at this 3-hour mark that it's been a little while since you've seen any marine life pop up, and you are kind of taken by surprise when you see what appears to be like a large fish just swimming to the east of your...
Blobfish?
A large fish, and you see the top fin of this fish kind of just crest out of the water and glide lazily around, marking its path. And it seems to be at a size that's probably a good 30 feet long.
Aurora would be very excited if she's, anywhere near the edge of the boat, but she would probably also be making notes with Bong over there and of the things they see, but she'd just be like, giant fish! There's a big fish over here, guys.
Beltol is trying to scribble it into their journal and is looking to make accuracy is very important. Does this fish have giant teeth?
Give me a perception check.
Can I do one as well, flying around on Tabano?
Oh yeah, you have a better aerial view, and you can actually see the shadow that this fish casts.
With my 5.
Never
8.
mind, you see nothing.
Might be water from.
I've got
from
an 11.
Might
Yes, but I would.
Okay. Everybody is
Let
talking
me ask
at
this-
once, and so I can't hear anybody because everyone's cutting out. So, let's do them one at a time. Let's start with Doctor.
We didn't, because it cut out when you
Cut out.
said who.
Doctor.
Okay, so I might have advantage for being up high and seeing very well, but I also have disadvantage because it's daytime.
Okay.
Kansas.
Yep. Sounds good. So, you can see just the positioning, but it's hard for you to make out any specific details. It does seem pretty big, though.
Okay.
And then let's see. I think
My perception check was 11.
your perception check was 11. Okay. You don't make out any teeth.
Okay.
Yeah. It looks quite fishy.
I wasn't sure if we were talking like baby sharks or
Oh God, please don't. I have a little neighbor next door, and I can hear it just blaring. It's not good.
It's actually not the audio, it's the entire feed from your end. Boots is just kind of pitching.
is it like dropping frames?
It's not dropping frames. Is that happening for everyone else too?
You froze up there for a second for me like a minute ago, but for most of it it's just been like I think the mic's not picking you up all the time.
Okay.
I don't know if you can like lower the threshold for when it picks you when it listens.
Yes. So they're saying that her audio sounds fine on stream, which means it's probably going direct from her mic into the stream. So it's probably a sensitivity issue.
Yeah, for Discord.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this any better?
Yes.
So far it's good.
So far.
Okay. So it brought it a lot lower, and everybody on stream got to watch.
Important. Thank you for your tutorial.
Oh yes, this is how you adjust your mic sensitivity.
Okay, well you didn't cut out through any of that, so I think
Yeah, I think we're good.
Hopefully, so I brought it so low you could call it Han.
Hey, Also, I think Seripides would hear Aurora initially exclaim about this fish and would immediately interpret her tone as alarm. And so she would pull out her long sword and, run to the edge of the boat, ready to fight a fish.
Yeah,
Okay.
Aurora's
Ready to
definitely
cut an
most
effort?
Huh?
Go ahead.
And that's it.
Go.
Oh, I was just saying that she's excited. Aurora's just excited, really. She doesn't look nervous or anything
Okay.
so far.
I don't think Whip has woken up yet.
It's baby swan.
Okay.
Sparks is trying to measure the fin of the creature with the wrong nautical instrument. And he's been playing with the nautical instruments this entire time, trying to rediscover their purposes.
Do any of the rest of you have nautical experience?
Nautical? Is that something I can roll for?
As far as the fish goes?
As far as fish or boat instruments,
Oh,
you
boat
could
instruments.
do
Okay.
a history check.
But is this not animal handling?
For fish-related stuff, it's animal handling. For figuring out what Sparks is doing, it is not.
Oh. I thought we were talking about like helping steer the swan boat.
Oh no, you can direct and
Nautical
steer.
instruments. Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't think we have psychology as a skill to figure out what Sparks is doing.
Yeah, if you'd like to roll, you can.
To see what's up with the fishy.
Yeah.
So
Or
that's
to see-
animal handling.
Yeah, for
have no
fish,
bonus to that, I'm
fish
gonna
is
do it.
animal handling.
Oh, I'll do that too.
I got a 5.
5. Sounds about right.
What a 9.
Okay. What are you trying to discern?
If I've read anything about this, I guess that would be a history check. If I read anything about the fish, if I knew anything about like scary things in these waters that had been in any of the stories I've read.
Yeah. So are you using animal handling or fish or fishing or history?
I had rolled animal handling, but now that I was
Yeah, can I roll history? Because Euripides was thinking specifically, can she eat it?
Okay.
oh. Well,
Yeah,
what
Nora
I rolled
might have
history, I
read
got a
about it.
7.
A 7.
So I don't think.
Okay. You know that the Strait of Alarin is dangerous, and that there's lots of different creatures that tread these waters, but you weren't sure about any stories about a big fish specifically.
I got a 17.
17.
Can I eat this fish?
That's history. That's intelligence, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
not wisdom.
Not wisdom.
Can I?
You
Not
can.
should I?
You can eat fish.
Hold the door.
I see what you did there. So, can Inoki cut out the middleman with a combination of rapport spores and speak with animals and try and have a chat?
Sure.
But if you're flying,
How close do you have to be to use rapport spores?
That's a good question.
if the fish is down, you'd have to be in front of the fish, right? Because you're like carpet bombing the water with the
20 foot
I thought-
20-foot radius. How far down is the fish?
Well, the top fin of the fish often crests the water. So
Okay.
you think you might have a chance, but you have not ever tried to use rapport spores for a creature that's underwater.
What would you like me to roll, boss?
Roll me a
I'm just-
d20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a straight D20?
Yeah.
9.
9. Okay. Do you want to keep that roll?
What's my other option?
Do you have any inspirations?
I do. I will use it. Crit.
Crit!
Nice.
Bum, bum.
Oh,
Well, what kind of crit?
The good one.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be crit if it was the bad one.
yeah.
It would be.
Unless he was
Yeah.
trying to sound excited.
That's true.
No.
Oh,
that
this
was
is a very good point.
Okay, so with that crit, you are able to just find the exact right pattern of flying close enough and far enough in front of this fish that you think you are properly crop dusting it. As I believe Tirthan coined Lester.
Yes. Okay.
So
And so I kick up on the party line,
Yeah.
and nobody else can hear this because they're not close enough.
it's true.
So I'm just like, hello, big fella. How are you?
Hello there. I'm doing quite fine. It's a beautiful day. The fish are plenty.
You're getting a good snack?
I have, but most trolls in these parts have been driven away. So
By
I'm
what?
traveling to a new place. By more threatening creatures.
Do tell.
They are shining and strange, and they don't look like you or I, but they swim
Not
as
many
one.
look like I do.
What? Sorry.
Not many look like I do.
No, I have never seen one that looks like you.
I am not common to the surface.
What are you?
I ain't from around here.
My kind are known as my conids. We come from deep underground.
You look much like food. Are you food?
I have some family that is food.
No, not food.
Would you like to join me? I'm a little closer.
I am not food for you, my friend.
Just waiting for the fly to be right. Or the fact that he's riding a fly.
Shh, same team.
Don't give the DM ideas that they probably already had.
She's smart enough. She's gonna do whatever she's gonna do, no matter what.
Suddenly the fish has a giant prehensile tongue.
It's a frog. So you thought it was a fish, but it's a frog with a fin. No.
Perception checks are you rolling?
I rolled a 5, so yes.
The croaky were actually in small folk.
It's true. More like a sobble. So
Does your kind eat my kind? I have not seen much of the waters of this place.
well, I have not eaten one of your kind, nor have I met one until today, so I do not know. But you do look like you would be good for eating, so consider that. Should you wish to be eaten, this is a good place for it.
I will remember that when I need to be collected.
Well, enjoy the rest of your travel.
Is there
And I
anything
will-
I need to worry about in the waters ahead, other than these shiny things you speak of?
Oh, everything. And the fish melts back under the surface,
Okay.
and your connection is broken.
So what I'll do is I will fly over to the swan and do and land and report spores again and just kind of let everyone know what was going on out there, and warn that this fish may find us to be food.
Okay. So
When the fish starts to go down, Aurora goes, "No, fishy!"
Let it go, friend. It is better this way.
yeah. So with that morsel of information you have received, you now kind of keep a bit of a closer eye out and trying to see what this fish may have talked about. You still haven't seen any shoals, and a little bit farther, probably 30, 40 minutes later, you are still making your way across the waves when you start to see little glimmering flashes of scales in the water. It's not too close, probably 45 feet away. And I would like you all to give me perception checks.
19. She was looking for a fishy friend.
19, okay.
I got a 19 as well.
Inoki is also a 19.
Oh my goodness.
Probably 19
I
or
got a
20.
17.
Okay.
He said 20. What?
22.
22, okay, so basically you all did great. Right. So you notice along with these scales that you see what looks like human skin as well. As these semi-humanoid figures kind of break the waves and go back under the water, you see there are what appears to be 4 or 5 beautiful creatures, half woman, half fish.
We can.
That was my question.
Well, shall we flip a coin?
Can it be mixes of both?
I just rolled an 18, so
It's
I call it
actually,
the good way.
it's half and half this way.
Ew. The worst option.
Roll persuasion on the DM.
Look at you this way to start, and then
Yeah,
they turn it's like,
persuasion.
oh.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I mean, you don't have to. We can carry on.
Wait, what was the thing?
Roll persuasion on the DM for your mermaid
Oh, I didn't hear that.
halves.
Yeah.
I rolled a 1.
Oh no.
The
Okay.
perfect time to roll a 1.
Yes, so they're normal mermaids.
Alright.
Unfortunately, not today. You haven't.
Probably for the best.
It's very possible. And you notice them kind of like waving at you all, and you hear sparkling laughter as they just kind of circle slowly around the boat as you make your way across the seas.
Can I do a history check to see if Aurora's read about these guys at all in all of her studies?
Mm-hmm.
Can I roll a persuasion check to see if I can coax them over here to see if I can get some information out of them?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I rolled a 1. Cal jinxed me.
I'm gonna use inspiration.
Yeah, you haven't heard of something like this before.
I only have 1 inspiration now. I
Okay.
used inspiration. God dang it. I got like 1 better than what I did.
What is it?
I got an 11.
11. Okay. Well, they're not very hard to persuade, and they kind of make their way closer to the boat, and a couple of them are just kind of quietly humming and making their way up to you. What are you trying to like do or say to them?
So I guess my next question is, would I know that they're like mermaids? Like, have I met one before?
Roll me history with advantage because you lived in this area.
Oh, that's right, I did. Oh, that's better. It's an 18.
18. Okay. You've heard of them. It's not infrequent that sailors that are traveling through this past come back with tales of beautiful women and beautiful music, and also tales of ships that have gone missing.
So I think Seripides would, for the first time maybe since she's been a part of the group, seems like she's thinking about being excited. Like, she, like, it's like if she were to meet a celebrity. Like, she's so excited. The only way you can tell that she's excited is her tail is just sort of slowly, it never moves, but it's finally like waving back and forth. And she would just lean over the railing a little bit and, are you mermaids?
Oh my god, Seripides, you just can't ask me if you're a mermaid.
Some call us by that.
What do you call yourself?
We prefer sirens. It's more of a profession identity.
I'm learning so much already. That's all really.
What are you?
I'm a tiefling.
It's been a while since we've seen one of your type. Very pointy.
We are very pointy. When did you see a tiefling last?
Oh, we don't really keep track of time. Prefer to just kind of go with the flow.
Seripides would just kind of... You. And I think would just sort of generally continue to flirt with this mermaid. I can't think of anything specific. It just seems like what she would do.
Okay. Sounds good. They seem happy to talk to you. One comes up and just is kind of like holding on to the side of the boat and is kind of like leaning and talking to you. The surf from around Credence just kind of like splashes against her as well. And what are the rest of you all doing?
What does Inoki see from above? Does it look like they're all kind of gathered on one side, or are they trying to surround the boat?
Right now you see there's two on the side of the boat that Seripides is looking off of, and you see two shapes kind of just moving underneath the water. They're similarly sized.
Nearby, other side of the boat?
Starting at a point nearby and starting to move around the boat.
Okay. I don't think that Inoki would know, like, if it doesn't look like they're trying to surround the boat, I don't think Inoki would think that there's anything wrong here. Doesn't know what any of these creatures are, because from the Underdark would just have no clue. But might actually kind of fly a little bit closer, but not so close that as to alert the
Okay.
I don't know how much noise Tabano makes. Like when he's flapping around, if it's like a biplane or what.
He has like almost a mechanical buzzing. I think we determined as like
like a helicopter almost.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily so like powerful and wind based. It's more clicking from the fact that it's more of like a stone material.
Okay.
Can you describe the sound he makes when he dies?
No.
We'll find out that later.
Dives. Not dies. Dives.
Okay.
Can I roll a history check to see what I would have heard from sailors in my previous sailing experiences about mermaids being a threat or not?
Yeah, roll with advantage. So you have boat life experience.
Just while he's rolling that, just because this is just flavor, when Seripides' tail starts going back and forth after a moment, there's a little baby swan nipping at it. Always missing, always like off by half a sec. Just like nipping at right where the tail just was.
I love it.
I rolled a 12 on mermaid history.
Okay. You've heard pretty similar things to what Serpide has heard, and you always kind of got the impression that it wasn't necessarily a good thing all the time.
I want to do a religion check to think about what I know about Njord and see if mermaids have anything to do with him and if they're under his protection, that kind of.
Yeah.
So that's 16 for religion.
Okay. And with your knowledge of Njord?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you think that, Njord is kind of one of the, less hands-on gods. He had more to do with, like, the nature of the sea itself. So you don't recall any specific associations between mermaids and that specific god, but you think it's entirely possible that they would know of him in some way.
Okay.
Aurora would just be excitedly taking notes again, and or still inspecting. I think that with Cal's little duckling going back and forth with the tail, I think Blossom might then also start trying to catch it. My little weasel is probably playing with them too now.
Can I roll a perception to see if I notice this?
Well, actually, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, nat 20.
Blah, blah.
I noticed the shit out of this.
Yeah. You're very aware of all of the wind space that your tail occupies.
I have an idea.
Oh, I don't
What's
want
your
to
idea?
be a backseat DM, but I feel like this might require a dexterity check to make sure it doesn't get bit each.
I'll roll a dex.
If there's now a weasel involved,
Now that
you
she's
can do a
aware
dex.
of
Or
it.
what are you thinking of for flavor?
Oh, well, what I was thinking for my 20 was Seripides, without even missing a beat in her conversation, would take her tail and, like, sweep them, not aggressively, but like how you know those videos where people sweep kittens across the ground? Like, she would do that with her tail to the baby geese and the weasel, just to sort of be like, shoo.
Okay. Does that sound acceptable and fair? Baby
yeah.
duck? Baby swan?
Yeah. Whip kind of like snaps out of it. Like he was going with the sort of animal instinct for a minute, and then kind of snaps out of it and remembers like, oh right, I'm a druid. And then he just sort of like waddles over to the side and just starts observing the conversation.
Yes. It's very like
Mermaids.
ruffled your duckling down and just regaining your dignity that you had forgotten for a moment.
Mm-hmm. Puffs himself up to his full like 6-inch height
Yes.
as a baby swan, and just kind of he's watching.
It's good. We have no music playing, but I have Baby Shark stuck in my head, and I am fully blaming you, Cupcake.
I've been singing it to my bird.
Oh no.
Have they been bringing it back?
Not yet, but one can hope.
It'll happen one day. Okay, so yeah, you don't think that they're necessarily like inherently bad, or that they're inherently tied in to Njord? Aurora, how are you handling these new arrivals?
She would just be taking notes and sort of writing about them and probably watching from a distance Euripides talking to these creatures. She probably wouldn't want to talk to them right away. She's more of in studying mode at this point, like drawing them in her little book and stuff.
Okay. Sounds good. So, Euripides, as you are sitting here talking, you are a little bit distracted and then kind of annoyed that it seems like it's gotten a little bit colder and like damper, and you like sitting in the fire. It's not your favorite environment, and you will notice that there seems to be kind of like a heavy layer of fog that's now surrounding the ship. It's a little bit surprising considering the weather looked so nice earlier.
I think Euripides would probably, the minute she feels physically uncomfortable, she would probably just sort of tip her hat to the ladies and leave and try to go find a fire. Make a
Fire on the boat?
Yeah. No. Can I pull up perception to see what I can see through the fog?
Yeah, for sure. Who else would like to partake in this?
I will.
Yeah, roll in a perception check.
Okay.
I'm going to take it with it because I'm overhead. You okay with me saying advantage to counteract my disadvantage because it's daytime? So flat roll.
I would say yes, but now you are looking in from above a fog bank down into the fog bank, so
just
disadvantage, yeah.
Okay.
I got
That's
a
probably the number.
Okay.
Hey, it doesn't matter. They're the same number.
Okay, so who rolled above a 15?
Cupcake.
Okay.
I rolled a 19. I'm talking to Credence.
Okay.
What is this? I love it.
Credence seems perturbed and has brought her wings in a little bit closer. And it's just partially they're like kind of folding in over you a little bit, so you can still see out between feathers, but it's almost like she's protecting the body of the ship with the wings.
Right. Beltol is trying to take the nonverbal hints and is starting to be on guard and is looking around.
Okay. The rest of you hear splashing noises, and Credence seems to wonder to you, Beltol, about whether you want to slow down or continue forward.
Didn't we say there was just rocks right here?
No, it's just open water as far as you can see for now.
Okay. I'm imagining half fish people sitting on rocks. I think I will tell her to. Beltol will lean in. I think best we proceed slowly but with caution from as much as you can remember.
She agrees and carries on at a little bit of a slower pace. And you're kind of just all on the lookout when you start to hear like a beautiful siren song coming from somewhere in the fog bank to the left of your ship. Dare I say, the starboard side.
Sparks, after he notices the mermaids and is thinking about the tales that he's heard of them.
It's four-sided, guys, I know.
He goes to the one that's kind of leaning on the side of the ship, and but not too close. He's pretty wary of these creatures, and he is like, what beautiful smiles you have. And he like makes a big smile.
Okay. The one that was leaning against the side, she says, "You have a beautiful smile as well."
I'm trying to see the teeth of the mermaid.
Oh, okay. She smiles back at you, and it's little white pearly teeth.
Do they look like the teeth of a carnivorous creature? A sailor-eating creature, maybe?
They look rather omnivorous, or rather like human teeth, maybe a little sharper.
I look
Stop it,
a little more
Cupcake.
a little more relieved. I look a little more relieved. But
This is
I
very
asked,
serious.
Sir's
but I
business.
asked the mermaid, what have you eaten yet today? Are you hungry?
We've had some fish, and she kind of like you notice that she has almost like a fanny pack, and it's made of like different vines and little ropes. It's very small that she pulls out just this kind of seaweed wrap, and it has little tiny fish pieces folded up into it, and she holds it up to you and says, "Would you like some?"
I'm like even more surprised by this development, and I'm like, whoa, okay, I did not expect this. And I'm just gonna say, no, I'm good. I already had some food too, but I was figuring if you were hungry, I could offer you some rations. We have lots of red meat on board that we can share.
It's kind of racist.
Whoa! Are you talking about Serpides?
No, I was thinking about all the deer meat we have.
Oh.
I like
We have a
that
lot of
Serpides
Wait,
still
wait.
probably thinks he's talking about
How
you.
far are you from Beltol?
Well, you're on the ship, so it can be.
Yeah.
You're probably within 20 feet, no matter where you are, unless you're on far
I think
ends.
the ship is like 50 feet in length, so maybe
Yeah.
it's not on the inside. Anyway, Beltol is going to lean down and whisper to Sparks, "Oh, my friend, I believe they're cannibals."
I'm just like a little more confused by this. I'm thinking, well, they eat fish, and they are fish, so yeah, I guess so. But, so confused.
We have nothing to fear.
From them, at least.
I'm still like confused. Like, okay.
Yeah. She sees you talking to him, and she says, "Oh, you're quite a lovely bird. Would you like to come join us? We're having quite a nice chat."
Beltol's looking out into the water and thinking about how terrible it would be to be in the water. "I don't believe I'm your type of bird, ma'am." And then goes back up and snuggles Credence a little more.
She looks just a little bit deflated.
You're swimming up the wrong
And
road.
she she kind of like pulls herself up a little bit more out of the water and reaches a hand towards you, Sparks, and says, "Why don't you help me out? I've been swimming for so long."
Just before this, Sparks has been running through all the different scenarios and theories on how mermaids kill sailors. And he's just like, well, if they don't eat them, then maybe they feed them to the fish, and then they eat the fish. And then she reaches for him. He's like, whoa! And like, tips back a little farther.
Make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Why is it always wisdom saving throws for this character?
That's what charm is.
Wait, this is a wisdom saving throw? Okay, we get some -1. So I got 6.
A 6. Okay. You're alarmed at first, but then you realize that plenty of those stories about sailors said that they're just beautiful and lovely to look at. And you think, it's probably not so bad. And you reach down and...
Can I roll an intimidation check? Because Euripides feels like the mermaids didn't take her leaving as like a no. She's feeling like there's some miscommunication here. Basically, she wants to intimidate them to make them go away.
They've overstayed their welcome.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. They're those girls that just stayed a little too long at the party.
No, I don't want to get breakfast.
No, I don't. No, I don't want to go to Sherry's. It's 2:30.
Yeah, you can, but not before...
No.
Sparks takes the hand of this siren and she seems to be heavier than you thought she would be, little halfling. And that's where we'll pause it. So go ahead and roll your intimidation.
Intimidation.
That'll be a 15.
Okay. This mermaid siren that has Sparks' hand in her grip sees you looming up behind him.
Oh, yeah. I would just say... Oh, man, I had what I was gonna say. I would just say, like, you misunderstand. None of us are available right now. It is time for you to leave. It is not wanted, but it is needed for you to leave.
And she's just taken aback by this, and it just kind of like releases the hand and slinks back into the water.
So with the failed wisdom saving throw, does that mean that Sparks is not concerned by the mermaids? Or what does that mean?
It means you really like the mermaid like you would like a good friend. A real good friend.
Okay.
Fish with benefits.
Whoa.
You okay?
Like sushi? Because it has stuff in it. So
Funny bone.
Oh no.
Not that kind of benefit, bud.
You okay?
The omegas.
Because I feel like
Number 3 is so good.
from Sparks' background with kind of being just unable to process a lot of stuff, so he kind of has like a friend or foe factor. I'm thinking that these still fall into the foe factor.
Yeah, but
you are... Okay, fine. You are magically charmed. There, I said it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was kind
No,
of
you
assuming that was a possibility, but I wasn't sure.
Not good.
You know, yeah. So, I can specify. Usually, I won't specify something like that unless it'll be immediately obvious. Just getting into the candy, everybody.
Sorry. I'm really hungry.
Yeah, we will take a break soon. But the problem is all I can think about is you eating my candy. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry you said I could.
Like, no, I did.
Oh.
I'm just like, candy, now I want some too. Okay. Normally I would try to play it more as like a roleplay opportunity, I think, for magical charms. Unless it's distinct. So
Okay.
future
The only
reference.
reason I asked is because it's just so opposite of what my character, I feel like my character would do. So I was just like,
Do
That's
we
the thing
see
about
this
magic.
mermaid grabbing after him?
Do you see which part of it? Because she has kind of come and gone.
I guess she probably wouldn't be watching that interaction necessarily. Trying to see if, any of us noticed him getting grabbed at by the mermaid.
Yeah. I think, especially if your weasel still kind of beckons Serpides to be paying attention as she moved over to where Sparks was having this conversation. So, you're pretty aware of it happening, but it seems like she scared the mermaid off.
Sparks is like, oh, I wanted to talk to her more.
Serpides just like shakes her head and then goes off and does whatever it was that I said she was doing.
So when this siren pulls away after Serpides intimidates her, does the group seem to take that as does the group of sirens seem to take that as their cue to leave, or did she just kind of back off for a minute?
Go ahead and give me another perception check to see if you can see through the fog cloud that still lingers.
Okay. Well, and actually, I think Whip would be specifically paying attention to fog to see if it was changing as they were backing off. So.
Okay. And bless you.
Okay. It'll be
Beltol
14.
is very excited looking for the seals.
Okay, what was the roll number?
14.
14, okay. You see some shapes just kind of silhouetted in the fog. It could be the sirens. It could be that big fish.
Okay. So they've gone far enough away. They've gone far enough away from the boat that there aren't any clearly discernible sirens, but they may not have.
Yes.
Okay. So Whip, still in swan mode, waddles over to Aurora and starts poking his little swan bill in her bag, looking for her feather token.
Okay.
Would she let him fiddle around, just poke around in her stuff, or would she start
If you look like you're looking in her bag, she'd probably just scoop you into her bag and be like, what are you looking for?
Okay.
But yeah, that fan token should be right up there because she would have just been looking at it not too long ago.
All right. Well, then he's gonna grab it in his bill and hop out and try and deposit it in her hands.
And she'll kind of just then remember that this thing makes things go fast. So she'll hurry it over to Bong, and they, I think I can use this to help our boat friend go a little bit faster. Get away from these creatures a little bit quicker. I'm done taking notes. I think I'm good.
Beltol looks to Credence, remembers that Credence was feeling a little bit wary about it. Just make sure that Credence gives the approval, which I'm assuming she does. And then we'll nod at Aurora.
Okay. Yeah, she seems chuffed.
So yeah, Aurora will use the fan token, which should increase the speed by 5 miles for 8 hours.
Yes. So what does it look like when you summon this into action?
I think because she knows what it does, but not necessarily exactly how to activate it. She probably at first just tries to like wave it around in the air a little bit. And I think maybe at some point she might think that it's something she finally did right, but in actuality, maybe it just takes a minute or two to get going. She's like, you got to do it just like this, and it'll go. And then, it apparently a giant fan takes its place and sort of gives a big boost of air to get us going a little faster.
Can I flavor this?
For sure.
Okay. So after about a minute or two of you fanning this fan and trying to figure out how to turn it on, you kind of catch the wind a little bit on one of your bigger swoops, and it flies out of your hand and goes about 10 feet in the air, and that's when it, like anime style, like whoosh, gets bigger and starts to kind of float magically above the ship and fill the wing sails with wind while simultaneously clearing the fog around you. And as the fog is just... Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, she'll look nervous at first when it like falls out of her hands, and then be like, "Oh no, I meant to do that. That was how it was supposed to go."
The fog is dispersed, and you don't see any of the sirens. Seems you have left them behind for now. With this newly increased speed and Credence being a little bit more comfortable now that she has vision back, you make your way across the pond a lot quicker than you thought you would. And it's only mid-afternoon when you find yourselves at the shore of what you think is Carvu. And as you approach and the shore becomes bigger and you get a bit of a better view of it, Beltol, I feel like your perch up at the front of the Swan gives you a little bit of advantage, along with Anoki, who's, I presume, is again flying onto Bono up above.
Mm-hmm.
You see kind of a little boat village, and it's very colorful. A lot of the buildings and structures actually come out onto the water, and there's little waterways for people to take their boats and vessels further into the town. There's lots of fish, and they all seem to be shore-bound vessels rather than vessels to go out onto the open sea. And this is where we will end our session for tonight.
No.
So we Celtic. What?
But D&D.
But D&D.
And more of it.
I know, it feels like we just got started. We will return after a short break for a little bit of talk about the session. And we hope to see you soon. But thank you for watching the stream. I had a fantastic time, and it's very interesting seeing us approach Winter Glen. So next episode will be quite interesting.
And thanks for the sub, Joe Hills.
Yes, thank you for the sub.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So So yes, we will return very soon. Thank you very much. And this time, I'll even unmute us all. So, Table Talk, how's up?
Why would you do that?
I know.
I don't want to hear us talk more.
Generally, no, but soon. Soon. We'll get there.
Soon, for the rest of your life.
Indeed.
So, I would like to know what all of your favorite parts of the session tonight were, and or what the most valuable. What's another word for object that starts with a P? I don't know.
Possession.
Possession, prop, most
Piece.
valuable piece.
Reasons.
I would have to agree because that is a serious upgrade from just the boat. It's like self-intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It
Yeah. Do
not
actually
call her
can
just a boat.
navigate
Oh, no.
over stuff. Like it beached itself and then just took off again. Like boats don't do that.
Oh no.
I love how immediately both Beltol and Cupcake just took to her. Like it was powerful.
What do you mean? It's like, here, Cupcake, here's a bird you need to take care of.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm not saying I'm surprised. I'm just saying I enjoyed it.
I think it's absolutely incredible, and I loved the baby duck or the baby swan thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the bird theme was just strong throughout the whole session because I also really enjoyed being a baby swan.
that was pretty cool.
It was great. The whole time that we had all of the Credence stuff happening, all I could think of was boat swan and how Bosun looks like boat swain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out like what a good joke would be, but I could not for the life of me think of one. Excuse me.
You're excused.
Thank you.
Favorite.
I'm not excusing you.
Well, I guess that makes Whip the bosun of the ship.
Yeah. Bosun. But then can't we call it boat swain? If it's boat swan.
That's fine.
This is,
Only if
this
it's
is-
rocking from
boat
side to
swing.
side.
Oh, I see what you're trying to put together
Yeah.
there.
yeah.
Boat swain, boat
Yeah,
swan.
yeah. Give me a minute, I'll
it's-
think of something.
Thank you. Yes, this is what I need help with.
There's too many layers to that joke.
Yeah, there was just too many for it to like be good. Just
Cake was
just a face.
football.
All I'm getting is full Swain ahead. That's all I'm getting so far. I'll keep working on it.
Okay. We'll workshop it. What are your guys' thoughts about your direction this episode? And
We
Glad we have
covered
a
a
map.
lot of ground.
Mm-hmm.
We covered a lot of ground.
We covered a lot of water.
We did
Yeah.
cover a lot of water.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like we were more focused. I don't know, that maybe this is just me feeling a little bit more focused than last game, but I feel like this session was a little bit more like, even though like a lot happened technically, I feel like we were able to get through everything pretty succinctly, but not like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, and I think people are kind of growing into their characters' like personalities and everything more as we play. So yeah, it did feel more like just hanging out in this world, this game, than like trying to figure out what the world is like, I guess.
Right. Instead of wiggling our toes in the proverbial sand, we are now walking along the beach in baby steps.
Yes. Someday you will run, my children.
One day.
Hey,
I'm just really glad that the characters have a map now because I feel like for the past two sessions, while we as players have known where we needed to go and how to get there, and the characters haven't. Like I felt that tension
Yeah.
of just like, you know, it's one thing like if you as a player don't have outside knowledge that you're trying to ignore,
Yeah.
then going around aimlessly is really fun, or at least it can be. But when your character is going around aimlessly and you just keep thinking like I need an excuse for my character to figure out what he doesn't know. That was like a little bit stressful, and that stress is completely gone now.
Yeah, I think definitely if I were to like backtrack further or like redo the start of the campaign, I would probably have like put a map easier access sooner rather than later, because that was like a lot of expectation on everybody to roleplay not metagaming. And you guys did a slow
wasn't
job of
metagaming
it.
for me. I didn't.
Yeah,
I genuinely didn't know where
She
we were
didn't
going.
know what the
I couldn't read the map.
And we did also bring it on ourselves because, like, when it was up to the characters to figure out where to go,
We just kind of took off.
Whip just pointed and everyone went, "Okay, let's go that way." so you know, like, it's not like, you know, none of that stress
No,
was
I mean,
anything
it's
that
all,
I was,
it's all like
you know, putting on you.
collaborative.
It's
for
nice
sure.
that our characters are on the same page we are.
Yeah. But also, like, from my perspective, like, I probably could have steered you into a map pretty easily, but I thought it was also funny that you just wanted to take off.
I thought that was too.
And so it all contributes to the story, which is the really fun part.
That's why I thought
I realized I was making this many mistakes. I was like, I've never considered, you have to actually get a map, because I just assume that they know things.
It's not really like, it's not about doing things wrong or right. It just takes the story different directions. That's all.
Yeah, but then you go in it and you're like, oh, these people are thinking about it this way, and that never ever crossed my mind.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the things that makes Dungeons and Dragons so cool is because you don't see like all those other perspectives, especially when you're doing theater of the mind.
Absolutely.
Like, you prepare for 900 scenarios, and then your players pick 904.
Yeah, like trying to figure out what tiny mushrooms sound like. And then someone jumps in and does it for you.
You're welcome, Ma.
Yay!
Thanks, Laura.
Yes, thank you. Bless. You can do this in real life today.
I think subconsciously we had both been planning that for a while.
Right.
Probably since we actually met.
Exactly. Because I don't think they ever, like... Did they introduce themselves officially?
No,
I
don't know their names.
Yeah. So, that's funny.
You don't know the rest of the... Okay. I know you talked to the birds because you were trying to help them figure out communication, but I guess it probably wouldn't come up that much.
No, I know everybody's name. I don't know the mushrooms.
Yeah, that's
name.
weird.
Oh, the mushrooms' names. Okay.
And then
I know
got to play
everyone
them.
in the party's names because that was one of the first questions I did when I did my first rapport spores.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
that was part of the drum circle.
Yeah,
I call Cupcake Toll of the Bell because I know
Right.
that's what that sound is. And I like in my head, Whippoorwill is singing bird.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So that would probably be how I would actually call you because I wouldn't know the name of the bird.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you know that bird is a word.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. But birds exist in the Underdark.
So I have a question for you, Kanku players. Did you anticipate that you would have all of this complications with just your names?
I underestimated it. I knew there would be some.
Yeah.
But it was also like, you know, I made a conscious choice that the character's canon name isn't a word. And, you know, when you make that choice, you kind of sign up for some confusion.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that's very true.
How does someone say that?
I think
One of
it's
the
really
things
cool.
I like to do whenever I play a Kenku.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Beltol has a name that was given to them, but doesn't want anyone else to speak it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you know, I'm realizing this now, but Whip is probably the same because, you know, whatever community he belonged to before he ended up with this group, they came up with something to call him that probably got adopted within the group.
Oh,
Well,
interesting.
that's how Kenkus kind of get their name to begin with. Is it's
Right.
something that calls to them, and that's what you are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, at least their name according to outside folk. Like your name according to other Kenku may be completely unpronounceable.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it may just be a sound.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting idea. I haven't like looked into Kenku a lot or the different like background stuff on them, but I love hearing you guys like come with these tidbits so I can like hear not only like what maybe you've picked up places, but your own thoughts about.
I'm happy
your
to spread
backgrounds.
the word.
The word of the bird.
Yes. It's true.
And like, there's not a whole lot
Oh,
in
mama, oh, mama,
the
mama, oh,
description
mama.
about like how mimicry works, beyond basically saying like they don't have the capacity for regular speech normally,
Yeah.
and that's about all it says. So there's a lot of room for working different angles with that. Like, I have chosen for myself to like rely almost exclusively on phrases I hear during actual play.
Yeah.
And I know other people who have, like, I had a friend who played a Kenku where the only things they said came off of a Chuck Norris soundboard. Like, they didn't allow themselves to like pick up new phrases. They had like this limited, set of audio clips from something, and it had to be one of those when they spoke.
Oh my goodness, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's dedication.
And then like
Yeah.
Cupcake's playing Beltol with a much more like closer to natural ability for speech because of training in
Yeah.
their past.
Yeah, which is also interesting, just like
Yeah, and I like all of those things fit within what's been described for Kenku.
Training is still mimicry of one form, right?
Right.
yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's why I'm so good at what I do with preparing the dead, because all I did is repeat what I was shown.
Right.
Yeah, I bet Kenku are like the best students.
They get all the good grades.
Yeah.
Because they're always copying off the person next to them.
Oh
Yeah.
But
man.
it's really hard to see that since their eyes are on the sides of their heads.
That's right. Actually, they're copying off of both people next to them.
Yeah.
What, the birds don't have eyes in the front?
Nope, they're on the sides. They actually have
Always on the
bones
sides.
in their eye.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I guess it's just essentially like one, but they consciously have the ability to dilate and like constrict and dilate their pupils.
Oh, that's crazy.
So when you see them do that, it's called pinning.
Wow.
Is it like trying to focus the lens for the best picture?
They can do it that way. I mean, you can obviously to filter out light, but they can do it when they're like excited.
So cute.
That is very cute.
Ooh. Mufasa.
So I
Say it again.
have one more question for tonight's tabletop that I have burning, and it is, did you guys learn anything about your character in this game?
I learned that Seripides is mermaid sexual.
Who isn't, though?
She's a Pisces.
Was that actually new learning?
Well, to be fair, Seripides hasn't.
Sexual.
Yeah, to be fair, Seripides hasn't had a chance to show her true persuasion talents. So I feel like this was like the first time she's gotten to sort of show more of her personality. I feel like instead of just, I mean, like she's still trying to stay stoic, but I think she's starting to feel a little more like comfortable.
Yeah, I kind of read that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I liked the like Seripides at the beginning when Deirdre was leaving, kind of her personality in that moment
Just like,
of being a little bit Ron Swanson.
yeah.
That's kind of what I try to do.
Right, like not showing any outward emotion, but clearly also having emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was good.
So what's going to happen later when all of a sudden the crown comes back?
The crowd?
Crown.
Oh, the crown.
Because I have Cerepides' crown.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, the flower crown.
Cerepides doesn't know that you have it or that it's fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Guess we'll just have to wait and see what Cerepides does when she finds out. In 2 weeks from now on Celtic Nut.
Exactly. Did you guys have anything else you would like to tell the world before we close out for tonight?
Credence has an ever watchful eye on Sparks.
Yes, absolutely.
Probably couldn't have too many.
Yeah, I feel like Inoki's probably going to keep an eye on him too.
Do I have to close my eyes to see through the eyes on my cape? Or do I have, like, ever-present mom eye?
You have ever-present mom eye.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to look around at your robe of eyes, your scarf of eyes?
I pulled it up after last game. No, I did. It's
Okay.
I know I did it.
Yeah, I do. It's on my Beyond sheet. I just have to get into it because I had to pull up the feather thing. I did a little bit. It was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I will read it as soon as I can pull it up.
Yeah, we didn't really touch on that this game, but I'm sure it will come up.
Let me see in... Oh, wait. No, that should be right. Advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on sight. Oh. I did not use that tonight. Dark vision out to a range of 120 feet. I can see invisible creatures and objects as well as into the ethereal plane out to a range of 120 feet.
Nice.
Wow.
Yep.
You know what that means.
Ooh.
Ghosts.
The robe, the eyes on the robe can't be closed or averted. But I can shift my own eyes. It means I'm gonna see a lot of terrible things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can take it off too.
A light spell cast on the robe, or a daylight spell within causes me to be blind for 1 minute. No, I'm not. Okay, I need to stop reading this. DM's not allowed to read it.
I think we can argue that you could retcon not using the perception advantage this turn because you were just like, Beltol was just so excited about Credence that it was distracting them. And so their perception was, they normally would have advantage, but their perception was diminished because they were just focused on big new bird friend.
Yeah, Beltol is very much like, doesn't actually expect Credence to respond, but is going to just talk to her about everything because they now have somebody that they can talk to.
I expect it to be a very Rosie Coriander relationship.
I'm thinking it's going to be because Beltol's like, because you guys for the most part communicate back, doesn't know what to do with you quite yet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, sometimes it's easier
talking
to
to
just
dead
talk
bodies.
at people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what's happening.
for sure.
I imagine like the swan head turning and like the eyeball like pinning and fanning, like the bright
Very
pink looking at Sparks when Sparks is like moving across the deck. It's like always.
One eye on the sea, one eye on Sparks.
Exactly.
I love it so much. Awesome. Well, I think with this we are going to call it a night, and we will all congregate. Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, we have someone in chat, Chucky Ching, just asked. He rolled a new character, second level character, or they, I don't know who they are, and they have some really weird stats. They're wondering what kind of character to build. This is kind of off topic from the stream, but if anyone wants to pick up with them at all on those rolls, my one thing I might say, Chucky Ching, about your rolls is that these rolls, the rolls you roll might be lower than what characters where you'd get to reroll your stuff. So I'd look in the book. If one of those rolls are low enough to be rerolled because they look pretty low.
But you can do point by too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
But-
definitely talk to whoever's going to DM for you about that, because
Yeah.
if the different DMs will approach the rules different ways, and some people will say, roll what you roll and keep it, and some people will say if you don't like it, roll it until you like it. So there are lots of different ways to approach that.
Yeah. As far as like putting points different places, it's really hard to say like this is good advice to take, because really it does vary so much DM to DM. So yeah, I would also suggest
versus canon.
Yeah, the best thing you could probably do would be to talk to whoever your dungeon master is and see if they have a preferred style, or even just like say, hey, these are the rules that I got. Like, I either like them or don't like them, and just ask if you can change something. Because that's also a thing you can do too.
Yeah.
So,
If you're interested in seeing more of us, we do stream, as it says, on Nick Boot's channel every other week. So we'd love to hear how that goes for you.
yeah, and the chat will still be up. We are going to wrap up the stream now in a minute, but if you guys want to hang out and chat and talk about character creation, that's totally something you can do too. So, yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. We will recongregate in 2 weeks' time in a fortnight on Tuesday, March 26th at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. Tuesday, not Thursday. So I hope everybody has a fantastic couple of weeks, and we'll see you on then. Goodbye, everyone.